Good afternoon, my name is Taylor Curry. The following video is a hypothetical scenario illustrating the benefit of interpersonal skills spoken on the behalf of a patient post-care. Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I've been asked here today to talk about my healthcare experience. In the last couple of years, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember walking to the specialist office and sitting down and being given my diagnosis, and then my specialist jumping straight into the treatments that were available and the side effects, also the side effects of one treatment possibly giving you another cancer, and just piling up on top of each other. And I remember just sitting there and being absolutely overwhelmed and having no idea where I was or what was happening. So my doctor was going through all of these things, chemotherapy, hormonal therapy, radiation, ovary removal, breast removal, hysterectomies, all sorts, and basically his recommendations and all the treatments that are available. But the other thing was that, like, he's sitting there going through all this technical jargon that I just didn't understand. I remember just sitting there nodding and going, oh yes, like I understand everything you're talking about. But in the back of my mind, my head was just running wild. I was thinking about family, how I was going to tell my parents that at the age of 23, I've been diagnosed with breast cancer, and how that's going to affect me. I was like, thinking the worst possible scenario straight away. It was like, I'm gonna die, or I'm gonna lose all my hair, or I'm gonna lose my breasts, my whole appearance is going to change. And I remember all of that. I remember how I was gonna tell my family. I remember my finances going through my head, like, there is no way I can afford this. I didn't even have private health insurance at that stage. So it was just completely overwhelming. It's not something that I ever thought that I would get, especially at this age. So there was no preparation for it. You're just kind of hit with it. You just sit there and try to absorb everything that the doctor is saying, and it's just going right over your head. I remember thinking also my appearance, it's amazing how much something like your hair can become a part of your identity and who you are. I remember being extremely afraid of going out in public and feeling like an outsider, feeling like you're pitied on and you're the sick person, which was just traumatizing. At such a young age as well, I think that losing all your hair, breasts, anything like that really defines you, it's going to just change how people react to you and how you're treated in public and society. And I was really afraid of all of that and how that would go down. I was also afraid of, thinking about things that you would never actually think at this age, like children and whether I'd be able to have them or not, because having your ovaries removed, like, I wouldn't be able to have children. So something that I wasn't going to think of in another 10 years was brought to me straight away, and I had to think about all these massive life decisions, and I just remember being completely overwhelmed. I was just stunted, and I walked out of the specialist room just head spinning, sat down in one of the waiting rooms and just tried to clear my head, and I had a few of the nurses come over to me and sit down with me, and they had all my diagnosis and everything written down on paper, so they knew where I was, and they kind of just sat down and comforted me and repeated everything that the doctor said, but in a way that was personal. Like, they sat down and they gave me their knowledge and their experience in dealing with someone that's been diagnosed with such a big life-changing experience for the first time, and how that I wasn't just another statistic. I wasn't just another person on the list of patients that he had to see today. Obviously, a specialist, like, you're just another name on a piece of paper. You're someone that is work. And I think the nurses really just made me feel like I wasn't the only one, and I wasn't insignificant, and it made me feel like a person, I guess. They sat down, they spoke with me not only about the technical side of things and the treatments and the side effects, but also me and my relationships and how I was going to tell my family the best steps to take in trying to sort out my finances and my work cover, whether I could still work, how much I would work, whether I'd be moving back into home is the other thing, because I couldn't afford rent. And all of these massive things that were on my mind that I couldn't talk to my specialist about because he's the medical side. And I feel like with the nurses, I was able to talk about all my fears and concerns. And they really put my mind at ease. They kind of told me, you know, what's the next step to take, and how to cope with it, and how to kind of clear my mind. How it's going to affect my day-to-day living, like how I might lose independence in some areas, how chemotherapy might affect me, the process, what's involved in it, how it's done, you know, how long it takes, all of these things that like you don't even think of when you're talking to the specialist, but they're things that are important, you know. And she really just sat down and helped me negotiate and kind of prioritize what to do from here, how to go about it, like with my work life, and all different things. She also gave me support networks as well. So she told me about a few groups that were really great to talk to try and get an insight into other people's experiences, and knowing that I wasn't just another statistic on a running sheet, which was great to know. Yeah, so to be honest, like without my nurse, I don't think I could have gotten through it. They were such an important part of my health experience. They really just changed the worst possible scenario to something that I could handle and that I could deal with, and that I knew that I could get through, that I was strong enough to do this. I think also talking with someone that's, you know, got experience and knowledge in the industry but isn't personally related. Like my family and all my relationships, they were personally involved. They were just as traumatized as what I was. They had the same thought processes running through their head. So they understood, but they were just as overwhelmed. And it was nice to sit down with someone who was clear-headed and kind of knew how to go about it and just really helped me rather than freaking out along beside me. So I think that they were extremely helpful, and without them, I don't think I could have gotten through it, to be honest. I think I would be in a very different situation, possibly still struggling with my identity as well, like maintaining who I was through this life-changing experience. So it was really important to me, and it had a massive effect on my experience. Thank you.